topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. You have been begging us by your letters to bring a public insurance adjuster. Many of you said that you didn't even know what a public adjuster did, but you heard that if you had a claim and you were having problem, that a public adjuster could really help you. So we found one of the top public adjusters in the country, Metro Public Adjustment. And this is their first show. This is going to be an incredible show. Let's go to our experts. Hi, John.
Hello there. Good to see you all.
Yes,
and
I got to tell you, we have
Paul
had
Peck
so.
as well.
Hello.
I'm sorry.
And Paul Peck as well. We're double teaming you here, Steve.
Oh, we're going to go on with. Okay, I didn't know Paul was actually going to go on. If you're watching us, you can see all three of us right now, and this is going to be a show. I've done a lot of public adjuster shows in other parts of the country. So I'm going to wing this because I cannot find our questions I have for you today. But I think we're going to have a great show. John, tell me about your background and the company.
Okay. Well, I was a contractor, high-end swimming pool contractor for 35, 40 years. So it's not my first dance. I built a few houses. I was in construction. My wife at age 55, she said, John, you may want to take a look at this. You may be able to do this. So I looked at it. It was actually a newspaper ad. I looked at it and I said, yeah, I think I could do it. So I called up someone from Metro Public Adjustment that was running an ad, and they hired me. Okay, so I started in 2012. And it was I'm a slow learner, but when I learn something, I move with it. And it was a slow moving forward, but I've been at it 13 years. Now we're at the top of our game, Paul and I both, and we're doing fantastic. The company's licensed in 47 states. I'm personally licensed in over 30. Paul has another 20 or so. So we're licensed all over the country to help people.
Hey, Paul, tell us about your background.
My background was I was a music major in college. So this is a big change for me. I ended up in the high-tech world. I worked in the high-tech world for about 25 years. Went from being a programmer to a vice president of sales and marketing for startup companies. And in 2010, I found myself the single parent of 3 young daughters. And when you're working in the high-tech world, you can't work less than like 60 hours a week when you're doing those kind of positions. And I needed something where I could be a dad. And Metro Public Adjustment told me that I could work my own schedule and still earn over $100,000 a year in income. And so I took them up on it. And they were right. So I've been here for 10 years, and I've enjoyed being able to help people and being able to make sure that people get treated properly by their insurance companies.
Well, we already got our first text. Steve-O, I never knew if you actually read our emails, and I guess you did. We have been dying to have a show like this. 10 years ago, I had a problem with my homeowners insurance, and I tried to collect on it, and they gave me some, I won't even use what he said, some small number. And a friend of mine said to hire a public adjuster, which I had no idea. And he said, it was the best move I ever made. I got 5 times of what the insurance company offered me. Shame on them. But again, thanks for the great show, and we'll be tuned with you. Great.
Steve,
Denver, Colorado.
I'd like to comment on that. We do a lot of work in Denver, Colorado. They recently had some major hailstorms there, and we help people tremendously. I can give you examples of claims where we've gotten thousands of % more than. So he's saying 5 times. I'm talking 20 times, 30 times more money than the insurance company offered the first time around. Or we had denied claims that were turned over and were able to get people paid without any out-of-pocket costs. That's the key. Paul, you want to comment on that one?
Yeah, a lot of times, Steve, people don't realize that a public adjuster actually has the ability to reopen a closed claim. So someone may have had a hailstorm over the past year, settled their claim, but they're not sure that they got everything they should have. Kind of like your speaker here on the chat. What we can do is we can review that settlement for free, no cost, no charge, no obligation on the homeowner. And if we believe that there's additional money that the homeowner should have received for that damage, we can get that money for the client. And that's a unique capability of a public adjuster.
You know,
hey, Steve, let me comment again.
Go ahead.
I just had a client today that had gotten paid for 5 shingles on a hail claim. And this was down, I think, in North Carolina, and 5 shingles she got paid for. Well, we never accept that. Our company, we're Hague certified. That's a national certification for roofing experts. We know how to get hail claims paid. We know how to get claims paid, period. So we give them 6 reasons why they need to have their why the insurance company needs to indemnify the client fairly. We know how to fight these insurance companies, and guess what, Steve? We win. We win. If your listeners want a winner on their side, they need to call us. We will win for them. That's what we do. Paul?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And somebody called engineer, do we work in the southern hurricane states as well? Absolutely. In fact, John and I have rented a house down in North Carolina for a storm a couple of years back, a hurricane that came through. And we had a team of adjusters that came down and helped clients in those states get compensated for the damages caused by that hurricane. So yeah, we absolutely can do that. And it's so unusual for, I didn't even know that public adjusters existed. I mean, I've owned a home for over 25 years before I learned about a public adjuster. I'd had damage in my home. I assumed, which is a really bad word, but I assumed that the insurance company would tell me what needed to be fixed. I thought that was their job. They were supposed to make sure that I was insured, that I was taken care of. No. Do you know that the insurance company has no responsibility to tell you what needs to be repaired? I had no idea. They are only going to fix what you tell them is broken.
All right, I'm going to jump in because I have this engineer that asked a number of questions. I want to respond to them. I want to tell you a little story about a public adjuster that's on my team. His name is Paul Talmazan, and he's a brilliant guy. His story is incredible. 35 years ago, he came to America from Russia, and he was basically a wealthy guy. He was a millionaire, him and his wife, 3 kids, and he came home a couple nights in a row. He was beat up, and the Russian mafia got to him, and they wanted his business and his money. He did restoration on on businesses. He did the actual palace in St. Petersburg and restored all of the paintings and things. Very, very smart guy. He came to America, settled in Kansas City. he started selling Encyclopedia Britannicas. Remember that, Steve? Way
I
back
remember
when.
that story.
Wow.
And he was successful at it, but he wanted to go to college school, so he got a PhD in business administration. He worked for AT&T, made a lot of money as a vendor there about 15 years ago. And then he came and applied to for a job with us. He was not doing much for 5 years. He was a contractor. He built 18 homes in northern New Jersey. Well, anyway, he recently, he's about 70, him and his wife, and they bought a house in right by you, Stephen, Palm Beach Island, and he got a claim to write because he got licensed in Florida on a high rise. The whole condo, everybody living in the condo was Russian, spoke Russian, and Paul was right in his own hometown. Okay, so they wanted $400,000 for the damage from that last hurricane. He got him $1.2 million. This is the first time in 30 years the president of my company said this happened. The HOA wrote a letter saying, you did such a great job. We want to pay you an extra 5%. 5%, anybody on $1.2 million, 60 grand more. So Metro got $180,000 for getting this condo $1.2 million. They were more than happy to increase Paul's percentage. Paul made $90,000 on one claim. He got 50% of that. So I'm just mentioning out there, we work with engineers all the time. I would like to get the engineers' contact information. We use engineers all over the country, okay? I deal with engineers all the time. So I'd like to be able to work with this engineer in the southern states possibly. So very, very good. It's
we had lunch.
Great story.
We had lunch, Paul, and you should have seen John's phone going off every 3 minutes.
Yeah. And I told him he had to turn it off today.
Yeah, I did. I turned them off. I probably got 12 calls already. So we get a lot of calls. We will talk to anyone. We will help anyone. I don't care how small. I see this as a social injustice. That's the way I see this happening. And I've learned over the years that people need our help. We help them no matter what. Okay, I help them. I don't care how small the claim, how big the claim. We will help them. There was another question from the engineer, and so he said, do you work on hurricane claims? We are set up in the South with a law group called Merlin Law Group. We work with them a lot. You can look them up. They're tremendous. They'll be on one of our future shows. We're going to interview Chip Merlin. And he just settled a claim in Florida, from what I understand, a bad faith claim for like $300 million. It wasn't a property damage claim. It was some kind of auto claim or something. So he really tremendous law firm. They're national. They're growing with our company side by side. We're opening up all new territories out west. Steve, we're going to start in California. That's why we're here in Oklahoma, Colorado, right? So we're on target. Look, I'm not done yet. I know I'm an old fart. I'm 67, but I'm telling you, I love what we do. Paul loves what he does. He's almost my age. Paul's almost my age, but we love what we do. We're going to keep going. Okay. I'm in semi-retirement, I guess. I'm only working I'm only working 8 hours, 10 hours a day instead of, 7 days. But anyway, we have fun with it. So
listen to this. We just got a text in from Oklahoma City. And it's a question that I guess whoever came onto the chat line, they want to know, great show. I'm so glad you got this show. Do you handle businesses?
Yes. Well, that's another question that this engineer had. He said, does it only work with house claims? Heck no, Paul. Tell him what kind of claims we adjust.
So I've handled claims from everything from a pharmaceutical research company where their sprinkler system went off and they had hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of damage to their machinery. They had loss of work. We were able to help them out. I've helped a liquor store. I've helped a convenience store. I've helped a judo. I forgot now what they call themselves, but where they teach judo and karate. I've helped a lot of people, and the businesses don't actually have to own their facilities. Oftentimes their business itself gets damaged in an insurable loss. And even though they aren't the landlord, they still suffer damage and need to be supported. So that's what we do. And yeah, we help a lot of businesses. We help renters. You know, Steve, a funny thing. I've worked in this business for 10 years. I have yet to see an accurate renter's insurance policy. I have never seen an accurate one. Every single one of them has been wrong for that renter. Every single one.
Wow.
And people don't realize it. They get this insurance. They think they're going to be protected, and they're not. They just aren't.
Well, there's another question. It says, does it only no, how long do you have before you can work with a public adjuster? And we'll tell you, every state is a little different. North Carolina has a 3-year statute of limitations. Okay, other states are usually a year or two. Most fires, they allow 2 years to file a claim from the date of loss. So every state has a different law. So just so you know, we have a number of people working in our licensing department and to help license our public adjusters that come on board with us. And we know we have people working in that area. We have attorneys on staff as well that will help with understanding the statute of limitations on policies themselves, etc. Paul, you have any comments on that?
Well, yeah, I'd like to, Steve, the reason why John brings up statute of limitations is that we need to be able to have the ability to use all of our resources available to get our clients compensated. And if a client misses the period of time where they have the ability to sue the insurance company has the ability to walk away. And that's just not right. So we try to make sure that our clients are serviced in a time frame such that we have the full extent of the law on our side if we need it. Now, how often does that happen? It's not often, although seems to be more often now than it was when I started with the company. But we're still probably less than 5% of claims where we need to sue the insurance company to have them do the right thing for their clients. Oftentimes, there are other mechanisms that are in the policy where we can use those to get the client satisfied. But as a public adjuster, we want to be able to have all of the tools in our bag available to us. And that's why John brings up statute of limitations, is because that does create a good incentive for an insurance company to do the right thing.
Let me get a text in also. This is from Beasley in Edmonton, Oklahoma. Great show. I'm a big podcaster, and I'm surprised there aren't more shows about public adjusters. Why doesn't the insurance companies cover animals? We have raccoons that chew through the wires, and it becomes very expensive, along with termites. Why does insurance companies not cover this?
So there's a couple of things there. First off, pets are not covered, and that's because they are voluntarily brought into the home. So a homeowner's insurance policy covers sudden and or accidental damage. Okay, so it's not an accident that the pet is in the house. Now let's go to raccoons. Raccoons have traditionally been covered in a policy. Rats, no. Termites, no. But raccoons typically have been covered in some more recent policies. And this is in particular with the larger insurance companies, where they have a team of lawyers trying to find ways of adjusting policy language to the insurance company's benefit. Some of those policies now exclude raccoons, but raccoons actually are traditionally covered in a typical all-risk policy.
Paul, I recently came across the policy that used to cover we used to do raccoon damage all the time, and they snuck a little one-liner in there that said nesting animals are no longer covered. Well, Guess what? A raccoon's a nesting animal. How did they get through that? How did they get that through the state commissioner? I have no idea, but they got it through. And that's what they do. They sneak these things through.
I recently had the language was rodents. And that's why the raccoon was covered, because the raccoon is a mammal. All right. But now what they're doing with this nesting language, and this is the same thing that they're doing with damage to flooring. I mean, try to find a word that doesn't mean marring in the insurance policy, and it's very difficult. So that's what they do, and that's what the lawyers are hired to do, is to modify language to reduce the coverages.
Right. I recently had a raccoon claim, Steve, I want to tell you about 3 years ago. My attorney, who I've known for 20 years, called me. He said, John, I know you're a public adjuster. Of course he knows it. I've been doing it for 10 years prior. And he said, I'm really having trouble. I had 5 claims denied me over the past 10 to 15 years. And finally, I got this raccoon that dug a hole in my roof and went in my attic. I got a real mess and they denied the claim. I said, let me handle it. Within 4 weeks, I got him 12 grand. Okay, not a lot of money, but he was amazed. Okay. And then he referred me to his partner, Roselli Griegel. And I'm going to have these guys on one of the future shows, by the way. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of guests.
Oh, yeah. He's going to get on with us. Don't worry. So anyway, Roselli, Mark Roselli called me. He said, John, I got a little water damage in my kitchen ceiling. A quarter-size water spot in his kitchen ceiling. Took me 6 weeks. I got him 22 grand. Got him paid for a new roof and some damaged interior in his attic, etc. He goes, John, you're amazing. How did you do this? I mean, why haven't we been using you for all these years? And I was upfront with them. I said, Steve, because you attorneys are know-it-alls. You think you know it all. You don't know anything about adjusting a claim. And he goes, I agree. A few weeks later, this is April of 2023. I think maybe it was 22. I get a call 10 o'clock at night on Saturday. Oh, Steve Griegel referred me to you. I said, oh, okay. He said, what are you doing answering the phone? It's 10 o'clock Saturday night. I said, I answer my phone. And he goes, I'm Steve Griegel's cousin, and I had a tornado. I said, you're in New Jersey. What's a tornado doing in New Jersey? He goes, we just had a tornado. I'm telling you. I said, I'll see you tomorrow morning before church. So I went out there at 7 a.m. It was an hour drive from my house. There was a 100-foot spruce tree on his house, and I filed a claim for him. He said, I don't even like public adjusters. He's a contractor. I handle this myself. Oh. I said, well, it's only because my cousin, the attorney, referred me to you. Within 3 to 4 weeks, I got him 62 grand. He calls me, goes, John, you're amazing. This is incredible. You know, I said, no, Mark, this sucks. He goes, what do you mean? I said, my estimate's 272,000, not 62,000. They just lowballed us. Okay. I'm going to get you more money. I got him another 60 grand. Guess what? They all use me from now on. All these attorneys that they're referring me to, you know, so that's the story. Once people work with us, they get it.
The show goes by. So this can easily be an hour show. Let me get this last text in. Great show. It's about time someone had a show like this. I live in Oklahoma. We get a lot of tornadoes here. So I'm so glad that you have a show like this. But my actual question is, what about mold?
So mold so mold is an issue. A lot of times the insurance company is going to say that mold occurs over time. And if it occurs over time, then there's no one instance where it actually happened. And so the insurance company will try to walk away from that claim. One of the benefits of working with a public adjuster is we know how to handle the verbiage and how to handle the communication with the insurance company to get things like that covered. And it's not an easy thing. We spend a lot of time in education learning different approaches, different ways of working with the policy language to enable us to have our clients indemnified properly. And he's absolutely correct. If he says mold or rot or mildew or any of that stuff, the insurance company those are keywords that the insurance company is going to use to deny the claim. And that may be a valid claim, but
it's going to be big in California, isn't it?
What's that?
It's going to be big when you start doing California.
Oh, it's
Absolutely.
yeah. I have a claim right now where there's mold, and the insurance company has denied the claim. We have reopened that claim, and I'm going to get that client compensated. I've addressed it with the right verbiage so that the insurance company knows that they now have to work with us.
Steve, we're IICRC certified in mold, water, and fire, so we know how to do this.
Yep.
Let's give everybody your phone number and your website address.
Okay, it's running across the bottom of the screen now. Of course, it's
For radio and podcast.
1492, 848-468-1492. You can find us on insuranceclaimsassistance.org. I have a nonprofit organization, or PBPEC at metropa.com. There's Paul. So we work as a team. You can email either one of us and we'll respond.
Both of us are licensed, and both of us are more than happy to take a look at your policy to make sure that it's correct, and take a look at a settlement. If you've had a claim, let us take a look at it, see if you actually were compensated properly, or if you still have money that the insurance company owes you. We'd be happy to take a look at those.
Well, I had about 50 more questions for you. I can't believe how fast the show went by. But you'll be back again with us soon. We're going to be doing California. Sure. And we need to talk about next time. Maybe there's people out there who might be looking for work.
Yes,
there might be.
We're recruiting around the country. We have a recruiting presentation. We explain what we do, how we do it, how we make money. If anybody needs any part-time income or a career change, it's the best career in America, bar none.
It is great. I love it. Yep.
Guys, thank you so much. Great show. And we've got a lot more coming up. They're not long enough. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
And that was, oh my God, I got to tell you, public adjusting is so important, whether you have a business or you're a homeowner, because the insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. And both John and Paul, they are real professionals, and we're so glad to have them. We're going to be right back with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.